Hello everyone, Mrs. Capobianco here, and I'm going to be teaching you how to create a digital mandala. Okay, so one of the things that we talked about in class was creating an abstract background design using the brush tools. That was the first 3 steps in this project. So if you did not create an abstract background like this already, okay, using the brush tools and the different opacities and layering, okay, then you're not going to want to move on to the next step. Please make sure that your image is flattened like mine. If you look over here in my layer menu, it says there's only one layer. It says background. To flatten your image, if you didn't do so already, you could go to layer, okay, and flatten image, or merge visible or merge layers. Any one of these 3 options will flatten your backgrounds. Okay, so we're going to assume that this step is already done. Here's an example of a completed mandala that I created, and now we're going to be starting a new one. So I'm going to go up to File and New, and we're going to create a new work area. I'm going to name this with my last name. I'm going to abbreviate Capo B mandala. I'm going to change this from pixels to inches. I don't want to be working in pixels. Some of you have accidentally clicked pixels and you learned the hard way that your document was too small and then you had to redo everything. So please double check and make sure you are working in inches. Inches, not centimeters, not millimeters, nothing else, just inches, okay? We're going to do 300 resolution pixels per inch. RGB color is going to be 8-bit. And our background contents are going to be white. Once you have everything, click OK and create your work area. Alright, so step 2, we're going to go to our menu and click View, and we're going to go to Show and Grid, and we're going to click on that. Now we have a grid in our working area. Alright, we're going to click View, Snap to. You're going to make sure that guides and grid are both selected. We're going to go to view one more time. Okay. It should say rulers. Check and make sure that you have a little check mark next to the word rulers. If you don't, you're going to want to click on this too. Okay. This is important. And then when you're done, you can click out of your view menu. All right. So next step, let's see. We're going to take a look up here, and does everyone see where your ruler is? All right, awesome. We're going to be clicking and creating guides for our work area. And it's going to kind of look like a box, and then we're going to be finding the center of that box. So I'm going to click, hold down the click inside of my ruler, and drag this line down to the 1. Again, I'm in my ruler up here. I'm clicking my mouse, holding it down, not letting go. I'm going to drag this line all the way down to the 9. I'm going to click, hold down, and drag this line all the way down to the 5 and let go. So I should have 3 lines, one at the 1, 5, and 9. Now I'm going to do those lines going this way. So I'm going to go over to my left ruler. I'm going to click and hold down the click inside of there, drag the line out to the 1, let it go, click, hold down the click, drag all the way to the 5, let it go, click, hold down the click, and drag all the way down to the 9 and let it go. Okay, so now I have a box. And I've found the center of my box, which is right here where these lines crisscross in the middle. All right, this might be a little bit tricky. If you need to go back and watch it, you can. Otherwise, we're going to keep moving forward. All right, step 4. Make a new layer in your Layers menu, and we're going to name it Template. So if I look over here in the bottom right corner of my screen where it says Background, this is my Layers menu. Okay. At the bottom there, you're going to see what looks like a little piece of paper with a rabbit ear corner folded. If I hover over it, it should say new layer, create a new layer. Yep, okay. I'm going to click on that, and it should say layer 1, and it just popped up right in the box. Now, how do we name our layers? Now, we don't want to click over here, okay? Like if I click over here, if I double click, I'm going to get a layer style menu. I don't want that. You're going to have to double click literally where the word layer 1 is in order to change that word. You can't click outside of it or in here or over there. It has to be right here. So I'm going to double click exactly where it says layer 1. It's going to highlight my text. I'm going to delete that and type in the word template and hit my return or enter key to select it. Okay. Next, we're going to be making an 8-inch circle selection, okay, from the center of our document. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to go look at our left menu options over here. Now, if you don't see all of these things, it might be because you're in the wrong workspace. So if you go over to your right-hand corner like I am, make sure you're not under like typography or 3D. Or if you happen to lose all of your menus, you could just click Reset Painting and it'll bring everything back. Okay? Alright. So I'm going to click and hold down where I see this little rectangle. Okay? Because I don't want the rectangle, I actually want a circle. And right below it, it says Elliptical Marquee Tool. That's just kind of a fancy word for saying circle maker. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to be making an 8-inch circle starting from the center. Now make sure the little cross here is in the center. Okay. You also want to make sure you're holding down a couple keys on your keyboard. Option, Shift, I'm holding those down. I'm going to click my mouse and hold that click down and then slowly drag my mouse up like this. Now if you look, it's telling me the size of the circle. So I'll know whether or not I made it too big or too small. Right now it says W 8.000 inches and H 8.00 inches. And you'll see how it touches the edges of the circle. So this is perfect. Okay, I'm going to unclick. I'm still holding Option Shift, and then I'm going to let go of Option Shift. And now I have an 8-inch circle selection in my work area. This step is a little bit tricky, and it may take a couple tries to get it to be a perfect 8-inch size circle. Pause this and rewatch it if need be. Otherwise, we're going to go up to File and save what we have, because we don't want to have to do this step again if we already did it. And I'm just going to click Save. This already exists. Alright, cancel. I'm just going to save this as a copy because I already have one with the same name. I'll save it as capital B mandala 2. Save. Okay. Next step. We're going to be using the paint bucket tool by going over here. You could click on your paint bucket tool, or you could go up to edit. So I'm going to click edit, fill. I want to make sure I have black selected. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to fill my circle in with black paint. There we go. Or edit, undo, fill. You can go over here to your paint bucket tool. Make sure you're in black. And you could just fill in the circle using your paint bucket tool. So there's two different ways you can do this. My computer's being a little slow tonight. Come on, Photoshop. There we go. Oh, what happened? There we go. Okay. So now we're going to get rid of the dancing ants that are going around the circle. We're going to select, deselect. Okay, they're gone. All right, next step. Use the rectangular selection tool to select the bottom half of the circle and delete it. All right, why are we doing this? All right, remember, we only want a piece of the pie selection. Okay, in order to get that piece, we have to make the whole circle. Okay, so we have to go back to our the circle tool here. I'm going to click and hold that down, and I'm going to change it now to the rectangular marquee tool. Okay, and in the directions it says we're going to be selecting the whole bottom half of the circle. So I'm going to follow my blue line, and I'm selecting the entire bottom half here. So I should have a rectangle going all the way around the bottom half. Once you do, you're going to click delete on your keyboard, and it should be deleted, and you should still have a selection here. Awesome. Okay, next step. It says use the rectangular selection tool, select the right quarter of the circle. So now I'm going to click over here on my blue line and select this whole section over here and do the same thing. Click delete on my keyboard to delete that. Okay. Now we're going to be using the Polygon tool, okay, to choose half of this quarter of the circle, or 1/8 of the pie slice, or 1/8 of the circle. Whoops. Where am I? Okay. I'm going to click. I'm going to start at my corner, and I'm going to go all the way across the center. Okay, make sure it's centered, otherwise this step is not going to work. Okay, so I went a little out of the lines here, but that's okay. We're really more concerned about this piece here. We don't want this piece. Okay, so we're actually going to be changing its color just so that we can select the black part. Okay, so if you look in the next step, it says use the paint bucket tool to fill it with gray. So we're going to go either to our paint bucket, which is over here, or you could go edit, fill, and I could change this, sorry, to 50% gray, click OK, and that's it. Okay. Let's see, what is the next one? Alright, so we're going to save, okay, because you should be doing that frequently. Click save. Cancel, hold on, I'm naming this 2, save, replace. Okay. Okay, next step. We're looking at our directions. Okay, now it says you're going to open one of your background patterns that you created. Okay, so you're going to bring it into Photoshop like I did. Maybe I'll do this step for you really quickly again. So I would just click, drag this down, and bring it over the PS icon, and then drop it in there. Whoops. Okay. But mine is already open. Okay. Now you're going to go back to your mandala work area. Okay. I'm going to use the magic wand tool to select just the black part of the pie piece. So I actually don't really need this pie piece anymore, but I'm going to leave it here for now just as kind of a guide. I'm going to go to my magic wand tool. It's this one right here. And I'm going to click on the black part of the pie piece to select it. Okay, now we're going to go to our rectangular marquee tool, which is this one right here. I'm going to go right back to my black pie piece. It's still selected. I'm going to click and hold it down. Woo! Do you see it floating? Okay. I'm going to drag this up to my background. I'm still holding down the click. I'm still holding it down. I'm now in my background. Okay, and you see where my mouse is? Once you're in your background and your mouse is hovering over it, you're going to let go of the click. And it's going to magically create the selection that you had over there in here in your work area. Okay, so now we're going to find an interesting place to put this. Okay, I'm just going to put it over here. Maybe there. That looks good. Okay, so I'm going to now go to Edit, Copy, go back to my mandala, Edit, Paste. And now you have a pie piece using one of your backgrounds. Awesome. And if you look over here in your Layers menu, Photoshop just created a new layer. Okay, now you're going to want to follow these steps carefully. We're going to click Edit and Paste again. This way it pastes another one. If for whatever reason, when you click Edit Paste and nothing happens, I'm just going to go back. Let's say Edit Paste and nothing happens. Okay, another way to do this step, if you go over to your Layers menu, we can duplicate this layer. So if I click and hold down layer 1 and drag it over, create a new layer, and let it go, it'll duplicate that layer. So now I have 2 of them. Okay? So for this one, we have to kind of transform it. All right, we want to change it so it's flipped the other way to create the mandala. So we're going to go to Edit, Transform, and flip horizontal. Okay, it's going to flip it all the way across like that. Okay, and now we're going to Edit, Transform, and we want to flip this or rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise. And we're going to position it right over where that gray box is. Excellent. I'm actually going to turn this off now because I don't really need that. All right, so now I have 2 pieces. Next step, it says merge down the 2 mandala background colors in your layer menu. Okay, so these 2 layers, layer 1 copy and layer 1, these are my 2 pieces here. I'm going to merge that down. So layer, merge down, and now they're in one layer and they're saved together. Okay, next step. This is going to get easier now. We're going to use the rectangular marquee tool to select that quarter of the circle. And we're going to edit, copy, paste it. Okay. Edit, copy, edit, paste. Okay. So now I have another one. And now we're going to edit, transform, flip vertical. And we're going to position that. Make sure it's lined up. Okay. Now we're going to merge these 2 layers. Okay, so layer, merge down. Okay, now this is all one layer. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select this, using my rectangular marquee tool. Edit, copy, edit, paste. And we're going to flip this. Edit, transform, flip horizontal. Go back to my move tool, and I'm going to move this over here and line it up. Okay. Now we're going to merge this layer down so that we have one circle. Okay, I'm going to go to Layer, Merge Down. Oops, why didn't that work? Come on. Photoshop is going really slow. Ah, there we go. All right. All right, and now I have it. I have my completed mandala. Awesome. So the template layer we don't need, okay? But you can use the template layer to create your new mandala, right? Because you don't need to do all those steps all over again just to create a new mandala. We already have the selection tool. So if you want, you can actually magic wand this same black pie piece here. Whoops. Make sure you're on the right layer. You can magic wand the black pie piece here. Okay? And if you want, you can move your selection to a new background. Okay, so I'm going to just deselect for right now. I'm going to turn this back on, and I'm going to turn my template off. Once you're completely done, you can delete your template layer, but again, we're going to be making 2 to 3 of these, and we're also going to be making a background. So I'm just going to turn this off for now. I'm going to go to my background layer, and I'm going to pick an interesting color. Let's see. Maybe I'll fill it with like this light orange. Okay. Oh, I almost forgot. There is actually one step that I forgot to show you. So really quickly, we're going to duplicate this layer. Okay. So I'm going to go over here and drag this down to create a new layer to duplicate this layer. I'm going to drop the opacity down to 50%, okay, and I'm going to edit, transform, and you're going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, okay, and this is going to add a little bit more intricacy to your design. Okay, so my design, it looks like it's kind of like moving and shifting a little bit more. Okay. All right, once you're satisfied, you have a background. If you want, you can play around with different gradients. Okay. See what you can come up with, or if you want to there it is. You can go to your gradient tool. You could click. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong layer. Okay, if you're in the wrong layer like I was, just edit, undo gradient, no big deal. Let me go back to my background. I could create a nice gradient if I want to. That's kind of interesting. Alright, I'm just going to leave this for now. You could also play around with the different blending options up here with this 50% opacity layer and see what happens. Okay, sometimes things happen, sometimes not a lot happens. Right? If this grid is bothering you, you could view, show, and turn off the grid so you could see your design. Darken color, lighten. Ooh, lighten's kind of cool. Screen, color dodge, linear dodge, overlay. Ooh, I like overlay. I think I'm going to leave it on overlay. That actually looks really nice. Okay. I could also get rid of these grids now if I, not grids, the guiding lines if I want. I'm just clicking and, whoops, undo move. I'm just clicking and dragging the lines back to the rulers. Okay, and there we go. There we have it. I'm going to File, Save. Oops, I clicked Save As. I'm going to keep doing that. Save. I'm going to replace. Okay, and I have my completed mandala. Awesome. In the next video tutorial, I will show you how to possibly do a GIF animation. This way you can make it look like your mandala is moving, and that might be kind of fun. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in class.